Test 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Test 1 2 3. If you could just give me thumbs up across the board here if everything sounds good for you. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Yep. Everybody good? Okay. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, take your time. And test 1 2. Mic check, mic check. Test 1 2. Good deal. Thanks. Thanks, guys.
make sure we had the most up-to-date weather information, so just give us 3 more minutes. We're just waiting for a couple people to come downstairs, and then we'll be out momentarily. Thank you.
See you. All right. Thank you guys so much for your patience. We will make sure we got all the information clear because it is life safety information. And what we were waiting on, candidly, were some clearer maps. So what we're going to do is just put them on the website so folks can go on the website. And right now I'm just going to say things verbally. We have Stephen David here, who's Mayor Whitmire's Deputy Chief of Staff. We also have Chief Christensen, Chief of the Fire Marshal's Office, Jeff Lindner, our Media and Flood Control District, and Mark Sloan here, our Emergency Management Coordinator. I just got off the phone with Mayor Whitmire about Kingwood. I'm really happy to be collaborating with him, and that's kind of the area that overlaps with us. Now, here's what's happening. We all saw the rain that came through the county. There was a lot of rain north of us last night over the past couple of days, and that's going to have some really severe impact for folks. It's turning out, especially for the east side of San Jacinto River, to be worse than we imagined. And so we really need to get the word out on what's about to happen. I am working with Judge Keough on this. I was just on the phone with Commissioner Ramsey, and everybody's working together to have the right assets in there. So number one, let me just say, I have signed a disaster declaration for Harris County effective immediately. What does a disaster declaration do? It notifies the state officially that life and safety are in danger, that we will need potentially additional assistance. We got off a call with the state just 30 minutes ago, and so they're aware, but this is the official announcement, and it also allows us in the event that we need to acquire some resources immediately that can't wait until Commissioner's Court on Tuesday. It allows us to do that. The good thing is we have Commissioner's Court coming up on Tuesday. I already put an item on there for any help these folks might need, including debris removal. Our Office of Emergency Management here is also increasing to level 2 high readiness. That's the second highest level of readiness, and that means we've activated more partners. If you go up to emergency management center up here, you'll see all kinds of partners working together to coordinate the response in our region. Right now, we're in the middle of an active response and really preparing for what's going to come next. So we're notifying our partners through that activation level that we're at a higher sense of urgency than before. We're requesting several actions from residents in particular neighborhoods, so please pay close attention to this. Again, we'll put maps on readyharris.org, but I think folks will be quite clear once I talk about it as well. I'm going to talk about what we're asking people to do, and I want folks to know we have shelters available. So in case someone evacuates and needs a place to stay, we do have shelters. We have Philippians New Faith Baptist Church at 7858 Angus Street, Houston, Texas. We have Greenhouse International Church, 200 West Greens Road, Houston, Texas. We've got Leon Grayson Community Center, that's a Precinct 2 Community Center, 13828 Corpus Christi Street, Houston, Texas. And finally, we have Calvary Baptist Church in Liberty County, that is 816 North Blair Avenue, Cleveland, Texas. So this is obviously cross-county coordination. We have been making accommodations for folks with pets. So if you need help evacuating, please call 911. Let us know what your issue is. First responders will come get you, and we'll figure out what to do in terms of the pet situation. A lot of these shelters take them as long as they're crated, but we'll figure it out. So I'm gonna have 6 different parts. So let me start with part 1, and that's the most significant in terms of life safety. Part 1 is about the East Fork of the San Jacinto River. That's the area we were talking about yesterday. I was out there yesterday visiting with residents. That is East Fork of the San Jacinto River from FM 1485 all the way down to Lake Houston. So as the water gets deeper, which is what's happening now with an additional wave of water coming down, it spreads out wider. So we could see impacts up to a half a mile away from the river, where yesterday it was just narrowly along the river. So here is the action we're calling for. I am issuing, starting now, a mandatory call for evacuation along the east side of the East Fork of the San Jacinto River. We are changing from voluntary to mandatory evacuation because this is different than what happened Tuesday. There's significantly higher water, which is going to impact mobility. And not only that, it's going to impact your ability to take care of yourself and your ability to take care of your family. So we want you out of this area. We can't force anyone to do anything, but this is a life-threatening situation. We need you to listen to that message that we're giving. We're going to be issuing a wireless emergency alert with the area in the various areas alongside the city. But let me just put this into context. Typically in this area, the river, San Jacinto, East Fork of San Jacinto River, is about 45 to 50 feet above sea level. On Tuesday, with the additional water coming down, we got up to 70 feet above sea level. So the water already, I was there yesterday, was hitting stop signs. You could barely see the top of the stop sign coming out of the water. We are about to see the river at 78 feet above sea level. 78 feet above sea level. That is just 3 feet below where it was during Harvey. So we will go 7 to 8 feet higher than we were the other day, which means even elevated structures will get water. It also means street-side structures will have rooftop flooding. It means the water will be hitting power lines, which puts our emergency evacuation vehicles at risk because they're not going to be able to see those power lines. And so for your safety, the safety of your family, your pets, as well as our first responders, please evacuate that area as soon as possible. The timeline on this, the rise of the water starts tomorrow, probably early morning, but it's dangerous to drive at night. You guys know there's water on the roads all around the county, and so I ask, and really it's a plea, that these residents East Fork of the San Jacinto River evacuate today as soon as possible, where we can get everything in order, and certainly before nighttime, if at all possible. If you need help, call 911. Remember, we have several shelters available if you have nowhere to go. There's food. They'll figure out the pet situation. We're there to help. Let me get to part 2. That's the part on Kingwood. And those are the portions of Kingwood nearest the river. And so these folks we're looking at the West Fork of San Jacinto River. It kind of goes like this. And so most of Kingwood farther away from the river will be okay. I want to make that clear. This is much less severe than the situation we're talking about in the East Fork of the San Jacinto River. So what we need folks to do here is, you've got 2 options. Either we need you to plan to stay in place for 2 to 3 days, or if you can't do that, we need you to leave. Why? The areas affected right alongside the river are going to be surrounded by water. Thankfully, there are multiple streets that lead into those areas, but you will likely be trapped in your home for 2 to 3 days if you live closest to the river. Those areas closest to the river also have the potential to see some structure flooding. We don't expect structure flooding to be likely. We don't expect homes to flood, but it's possible. And if they do, it certainly will not be widespread. And so I don't want to alarm people excessively, but I do want folks along the river to know you're probably going to be stuck at home for 2 to 3 days. Make sure you have the provisions. Timeline: flooding will hit Kingwood tonight into tomorrow, Friday, lasting into the weekend. Again, it's dangerous to drive at night. Evacuate today as soon as possible if you are looking to get somewhere else. If you need shelter, we have shelter to offer. The following part here, part 3, is also on the other side of Kingwood, and that's Forest Cove and North Shore, as well as on the other end, Bellawood and Rivercrest. So those neighborhoods have the same recommendation. We either need folks to plan to stay put for 2 or 3 days, or to leave if they can't do that. Same as Kingwood, there's going to be impacted areas, and the structures, even if you live in an elevated home, you'll be cut off unless you have a boat. 2 to 3 days of flooding we're looking at, and again, we're asking folks to evacuate today as soon as possible, certainly before nighttime. Call 911 if you need help. Now, the other piece I want to talk about, again, in the same general area, is Kings Point, Atascocita Shores area. That's sort of opposite to the east of Forest Cove, North Shore, Bellawood, and Rivercrest. So this is near where the east and west fork of the San Jacinto River come together, and that is another area that will be impacted in terms of severe flooding that will, for all intents and purposes, trap people in their homes for 2 to 3 days. So that's another area where we need folks to leave unless they're prepared to stay at home for 2 to 3 days, and to know they won't be able to get out of there probably unless they have a boat. Call 911 if you need help. Final part is Rio Villa. So that's way farther south of Lake Houston as you get into the ship channel. So that area, unlike the ones I just mentioned, there's only one way in and one way out, and that's Wallaceville Road. Wallaceville Road will be underwater. So while the other folks were saying, you're going to probably be stuck there, in theory, there's multiple roads. This one, there's only one way in, one way out, which makes it especially concerning. And so the good news is that folks down in Rio Villa have more time because the water's flowing south. And so for them, we're not asking Rio Villa to get out today. We're asking you to get out of there if you can. Unless you're planning to stay home for 2 to 3 days, please leave before sundown tomorrow, Friday. Water will peak over the weekend, so you'll also be locked in for about 2 days. Resources, as I mentioned, we have 3 shelters open right now, 1 opening later today. We will be putting these on readyharris.org, as well as any more resources that become available, including the maps with, as best we can estimate, how far away from the river folks are going to be impacted. In terms of power, I know there are quite a few folks without power right now. I got off the phone with Centerpoint just a few minutes ago, and it's because of the wind, okay? It's because of the wind that came through earlier today. We know those storms really looked and felt terrible, and so the bad news there is it's not as easy as Centerpoint turning on an emergency generator and bringing more electricity to homes. They have to actually repair what has broken, and that takes some time. And so unfortunately, for those homes that are actually on the other side of the county, sort of northwest area of the county, Spring area, you may be out of power for 24 to 36 hours. That is what Centerpoint told us. They're working around the clock, but they say they just can't get it. They can't get that physical infrastructure back together any faster. And so what we're going to do there, I know it's hot. I know that it's really muggy and it's, rainy, so we're going to have resources available there as well in case people need a shelter and also need to be somewhere, since it's going to be at least a day and a half. If there's a critical facility in the area that is out, let us know, and let CenterPoint know. They can use mobile mobile generation for that. On the schools, some schools in the various areas I mentioned have already closed or canceled after-school activities. So I encourage you to stay on top of this. The schools meet early in the morning, around 4 or 5 in the morning. I was just on the phone with the superintendent over in Huffman yesterday. That's what they'll continue to do. And so just check with them. Check your school district's website, social media, and emails they sent on whether or not your child has school tomorrow. And that's a decision the school districts make according to the information that we provide them and National Weather Service provides them. So let me conclude, and I'll repeat in Spanish, and then let my colleagues see if they have anything to add, take any questions. So we've had a tough night. Folks north of Harris County had a tough night, and more is coming. So we're really in the middle of an active incident now, what is a disaster now officially after I've signed the declaration. We're in the middle of issues focusing on rescues. The good news is we've got folks deployed. They're working together. They were working together when I was out there in Huffman just marvelously well. I mean, these teams are utmost professionals, and we need folks to be weather aware. The weather came in this morning, just came in all of a sudden. We had different predictions before that. So be weather aware. We are prepared. We will get through this. We'll have an ability to request small business administration support. And right now we just need people to please heed our advice and to keep themselves, their families, their pets, to the extent you can help your neighbors. Please remember there's so much we can do as emergency management personnel. We need folks to take that individual responsibility and do your part as well. So let me repeat in Spanish, and I'll try to be efficient here. Ok, ¿qué está sucediendo? Ha llovido bastante, especialmente al norte del condado Harris, y obviamente vimos que hubo una tormenta que pasó por todo el condado, subió los niveles del agua en las carreteras, pero ya está bajando el agua. El problema es que llovió muchísimo al norte del condado Harris, en condado Montgomery, los condados que están norte, noreste. Es un problema para las personas allá. He estado hablando con el juez del condado, Mark Keogh, para que él organice cualquier recurso que se necesita. Pero lo que viene es el agua a bajar de norte a sur y va otra vez cruzar por el noreste del condado Harris. Entonces, hoy día acabo de firmar una declaración de desastre para el condado Harris. Eso nos permite recibir más atención del Estado. También nos permite invitar a más colaboradores aquí al Centro de Operaciones de Emergencia. Hay todo tipo de agencias arriba trabajando por la comunidad. Y además nos permite, si fuéramos a necesitar algún recurso urgentemente, podemos obtener ese recurso con menos pasos para traerlo a la comunidad más rápidamente. Hay corte de comisionados el martes, entonces no creo que vayamos a necesitar nada, pero está la opción. También nuestra oficina de manejo de emergencias hemos subido el nivel de preparación al nivel 2. Eso significa que hemos activado más recursos, significa que estamos en un nivel de urgencia más alto. Este es el segundo nivel más alto de emergencia, por eso quiero comunicar el nivel de riesgo que existe para ciertas comunidades en los días que siguen. Vamos a pedir ciertas acciones por parte de residentes en ciertos vecindarios. Entonces voy a describir esto en varias partes y quiero que sepan que tenemos refugios disponibles. Si alguien necesita evacuar y no tiene dónde quedarse, los podemos llevar a estos sitios. Está Philippians New Faith Baptist Church, Greenhouse International Church, Leon Grayson Community Center y Calvary Baptist Church. Entonces hay bastantes opciones, hay comida, aire acondicionado y además pueden recibir a sus mascotas. Esperamos que estén enjaulados, pero si no, miramos a ver qué se puede hacer. La parte 1 está la parte parte más importante. Ayúdenos, si usted no vive ahí y tiene amigos que viven allá, por favor llámenlos. Estuve allí el día de ayer, hay muchas personas latinas ahí y necesitamos que escuchen este mensaje urgentemente. También les va a llegar una alarma al celular, pero, o sea, la gente trabaja, está distraída y esto es de realmente vida o muerte. Entonces, hay más agua llegando del norte, lo cual hace la profundidad del río, de la parte este del río San Jacinto, el brazo este, más profunda. A medida que se incremente la profundidad, el agua también se expande. ¿Qué significa eso? Que ayer estamos hablando del brazo este del río San Jacinto, estamos hablando de las casas más cerca a ese río, estamos hablando de una evacuación opcional. Hoy día puede ser hasta media milla del río y estamos ordenando una evacuación obligatoria. ¿Por qué? Porque eso es diferente a lo que sucedió el martes. Hay riesgo muy alto. Si vive en una casa elevada, igual se va a inundar la casa. Si vive en una casa que está en el suelo, va a llegar hasta el techo. Va a llegar hasta las líneas eléctricas. ¿Qué significa eso? Que cuando vienen los bomberos, cualquier personal a rescatarlos, puede ser peligroso inclusive para ellos porque pueden pegarle a uno de estos cables. Entonces, para explicarlo más claramente, normalmente el río está a 45 o 50 pies sobre el nivel del mar. El martes el río subió a 70 pies. Hoy día va a subir a 78 pies sobre el nivel del mar, más entrada de la noche. Para poner eso en contexto, el huracán Harvey subió 81 pies. Entonces estamos prácticamente en ese nivel de seriedad, en esa área en particular. Por favor, sepan que el río va a subir mañana tempranísimo, en la madrugada, es lo que estamos hemos predicho, y va a ser muy peligroso conducir por la noche. Entonces, por favor, evacúen hoy lo más pronto posible, en cuanto puedan recoger cualquier mascota, la familia, lo que necesiten. Por favor, salgan de ahí, llamen al 911 si necesitan ayuda. Esto es de vida o muerte. Por favor, escuchen el mensaje y vayan a otra parte del condado o podemos recibirlo en nuestros refugios que están bien atendidos. La parte 2 es el área de Kingwood, las porciones de Kingwood que están más cerca al río. Ahí es el brazo oeste del río San Jacinto. Quiero ser muy clara. La mayoría de Kingwood no se va a ver impactado seriamente, pero esas áreas a lo largo del río, específicamente ahí sobre el río, van a haber tanta lluvia que básicamente van a quedar atrapadas 2 o 3 días. Entonces, si usted vive a lo largo del río, en Kingwood, debe salir a menos de que esté preparado a quedarse 2 o 3 días. Hay la posibilidad que se inunden los hogares, pues la posibilidad es muy baja. Entonces, realmente no tenemos gran preocupación por eso. La inundación va a llegar a Kingwood esta noche y va a durar hasta el fin de semana. Nuevamente es peligroso conducir en la noche, entonces, por favor, si va a salir, salga lo más pronto posible. Ahí mismo también está el área de Forest Cove y North Shore y también los vecindarios de Bellawood y Rivercrest. Es la misma situación, pero todo el vecindario. Entonces va a haber bastante inundación. Lo más seguro es que no pueda salir a menos que tenga bote. Entonces prepárese para estar en casa 2 a 3 días. Si no puede, por favor, evacúe. Puede llamar al 911 si necesita ayuda. Al área un poco este de esos vecindarios, está el vecindario de Kings Point y Atascocita Shores. Entonces, nuevamente es la misma situación. Vamos a ver inundaciones en las calles suficientemente severas que no va a ser posible conducir de ninguna manera. Si pueden quedarse ahí 2 o 3 días, háganlo. Si no, por favor, salgan antes de esta noche. La parte final es el área de Rio Villa. Eso es bastante al sur de Lake Houston y es un área que siempre se inunda. Esta área solamente tiene una calle de entrada y salida, Wallisville Road. Entonces, si vive ahí sí que es más que seguro que no va a poder salir. Por favor, evacúen a menos de que pueda quedarse ahí 2 días. Lo bueno en el Rio Villa es que como es más al sur, tiene más tiempo para prepararse. Entonces, debe salir antes de la noche de mañana viernes y entonces tiene más un día casi para prepararse y el agua va a llegar al nivel más alto durante el fin de semana, va a estar ahí alrededor de 2 días. Nuevamente tenemos 3 refugios ya abiertos, otro que va a abrir en un momento. En readyharris.org tenemos información, siempre buscamos ponerla en español. Vamos a poner los mapas más claramente, ahorita como está todo moviéndose rápido no los pudimos imprimir, pero van a llegar a Ready Harris. El último punto, 2 más, en las escuelas, varias escuelas han cancelado ya clases, por favor vea la página web de la escuela, del distrito escolar, también Facebook, cualquier página que usted utilice del distrito escolar. Ellos deciden normalmente alrededor de las 4 o 5 de la mañana qué van a hacer. Lo último es la electricidad. Sé que hay muchas personas que están sin luz porque pasó la tormenta hoy y tumbó varios árboles. Entonces, no va a poder CenterPoint restaurar la electricidad muy pronto porque les toca pues arreglar la infraestructura física, lo cual les va a tardar de 24 a 36 horas. Eso está impactando a las áreas del noroeste del condado, el área de Spring más o menos, se quedan alrededor de 100,000 habitantes sin electricidad o hogares. Bueno, entonces también vamos a tener recursos y refugios allá. Sé que está haciendo calor, hay personas que puedan tener delicada la salud, necesiten la electricidad, entonces vamos a ofrecer esos apoyos. Todavía no hemos podido, tenido la oportunidad de crear eso, pero lo más pronto posible lo compartiremos a los medios. Finalmente, bueno, ha sido una noche difícil, unas par de noches difíciles. Lo que he visto ayer en las áreas del este del río, del brazo este del río San Jacinto, de verdad que el agua ya llegaba hasta los avisos de pare y ahorita va a subir aún más. Pero sepan que aunque estamos en medio de un desastre, hay docenas de personas trabajando, han trabajado día y noche, aquí están dedicados a ustedes. Estamos planeando, estamos moviendo lo más rápido posible, pero necesitamos que usted nos apoye. Si vive ahí en el brazo este del río San Jacinto, por favor evacúe, y si no, por favor analice muy cuidadosamente si vive en los otros vecindarios, si es que puede estar 2 a 3 días en casa. Entonces, a cuidarnos todos, a ayudar a la familia, a los vecinos, y seguiremos aquí trabajando. Anything to add, folks? Okay, we'll take any questions.
Can you please repeat the churches where people can go?
Yes. So we have Philippians New Faith Baptist Church. New Faith Baptist Church, that's 7858 Angus Street. Angus, Angus. We have Greenhouse International Church, 200 West Greens Road. We have Leon Grayson Community Center, that is 13828 Corpus Christi Street. And finally, and this is in our neighboring county, is Calvary Baptist Church. And that is 816 North Blair Avenue. It's in Cleveland, Texas. Blair, B-L-A-I-R. 816 North Blair Avenue. Now, the Greenhouse International Church one is still working to open. The other 3 are already open. Pets are allowed in all 3 of them, and the Greenhouse, we're still waiting to find out.
Will this be posted on the?
Ready Harris, readyharris.org, yeah. And as I mentioned, anytime now, folks in those areas are going to get an alert to their cell phones, and it'll say, you know, who needs to evacuate and who is going to be basically stuck at home.
Pues si la puede mencionar de nueva cuenta las áreas específicas donde la gente va a tener algunas afectaciones.
Sí, específicamente estamos viendo el brazo este del río San Jacinto, de la calle FM 1485, que es básicamente la 99, ahí donde está la curva, y hasta Lake Houston. toda esa área y bastante ancho, casi media milla, va a estar bajo agua, a menos de que esté en una montaña. O sea, lo que quiero que comunicar es salgan de ahí lo más pronto posible, con cuidado, obvio, porque tienen hasta que caiga la noche, pero por favor, ahí es evacuación obligatoria. Luego están las áreas de Kingwood a lo largo del río. Si está el centro de Kingwood, de repente se inunda un poquito la calle, pero van a estar bien. A lo largo del río, sí se va a inundar bastante, no va a poder salir 2 o 3 días. En las áreas de Forest Cove y North Shore y de Bellawood and River Crest, como por aquí, Kingwood está aquí, es Forest Cove, North Shore, Bellawood and River Crest, lo mismo, va a estar inundado, no van a poder salir en 2 a 3 días, tienen hasta esta noche para salir. Y el área de Kings Point, Atascocita Shores, igual, no es que se les va a inundar la casa, pero sí va a haber muchísima agua. Finalmente al sur, Rio Villa, es al sur de Lake Houston y ahí se va a inundar mañana, mañana por la noche, entonces tiene hasta mañana antes de que caiga el sol para salir y van a estar 100% atrapados porque solo hay una calle que entra y sale, es Wallaceville Road. ¿Estuvo claro?
Sí. ¿Cómo cuánta gente estiman está afectada por esta situación?
How many people are affected around?
Hundreds.
Dice cientos de personas, docenas de hogares. Y es eso, no queremos alarmar, pero no queremos tampoco ir a una situación, una persona enferma, una persona sin provisiones, y especialmente en el área del brazo este, es bastante serio.
Para la gente que no puede comunicarse debido al idioma que mencionó usted, que hay bastante gente hispana en esa área que tal vez pudiera tener algún problema para comunicarse, ¿qué quiere decirles ahí?
Bueno, la nota al celular les va a llegar también en español. Entonces ahí va a estar el link a la página web, readyharris.org, y vamos a trabajar por tener todo en español. Siempre procuramos hacer eso. 911 igual, por favor, nadie le va a estar pidiendo ningún papel, nada de que si ciudadanía, residencia, nada. 911, y ahorita en medio de un desastre, usted llama, necesito que me rescaten, y van a ir los bomberos a rescatarlo. Entonces, con tranquilidad, por favor, proteja a su familia. Si necesita salir y no puede, hay mucha agua, llame 911 con tranquilidad.
Talk about that allocation of resources. You said like some places have more time, so can you talk about what's being deployed now for people to know that there's water rescue available happening, and maybe just further south that's not as readily available?
Yeah, I mean, so yesterday, for example, there were several resources up in Huffman, and it was the fire marshal's office and the sheriff's office and the Huffman Fire Department, and they were just doing incredible work up there, and even just in the couple hours they were there were several calls for rescue. So because that area was already flooded, the state has been sending what they call a package, basically south. And so now it's getting into, since a couple days ago, it's gotten into that part of Harris County where the package means a collection of high water vehicles and boats to supplement ours. I was just on the phone with Commissioner Ramsey, Precinct 3. He also has some rescue vehicles. Commissioner Garcia, Precinct 2, is helping with community centers. And the phone call I got was to Commissioner Briones, whose communities are the ones that don't have power. So anyway, we do feel right now that we have the resources necessary. The weather's unpredictable, right? It took us all by surprise this morning. And so, but as we predicted, we feel comfortable. All of that is going to be moving south with the impacted areas. Am I missing anything, Mark?
I can speak about the city.
Yes.
I can answer your question. I'm Stephen David. I'm Mayor Whitmire's Deputy Chief of Staff. So I'll give a couple of updates as to what the city has been doing and the reactions that we've been having out in those communities. Mayor Whitmire is currently out in the community. He's actually working with police and fire right now at Station 102, and he is working to help make sure that everybody has assets. He's also working with the people that have been rescued within that community. One of the things that's most important, right, and I know that the county judge has said this multiple times, is do not drive in the water. Please do not drive in that water. It is deep. It is deeper than you think it's going to be. And if you have an emergency, you need to call 911. As far as the city goes, these are the updates that we have. With regards to public works, there are no significant issues with water or sewage. We're not expecting, or we are not experiencing any overflows. We're not experiencing any water shortage or compromise of our drinking water. There have been 9 rescues so far. There have been 7 done by the fire department and 2 done by the police. 0 injuries. There have been 0 tows, and we've actually been getting a light volume of phone calls to 911. However, the fire and police currently and will continue to be co-located at Fire Station 102 and working under what's called a unified command, which means they are collaborating together and they're taking one stream of information. They're not working as 2 separate entities, but collaboratively. Additionally, the airport had delays this morning, IAH did, but we expect them to get back into regular service this afternoon and evening. And as the county judge said, while the rains have generally passed for today, this is going to be a few days long. We are expecting a bulge of water coming down from the north, and it's going to impact those communities very severely. So over the next 48 hours, it's going to be a moving target. And please continue to listen to the public and our media partners. And we're going to be updating y'all as the situation changes. There are multiple shelters available, and the county judge listed off all those shelters, so I won't belabor that point. But the last thing that I want to do, and this is the last thing that Mayor Whitmire wanted to make sure that I did, was that we want to thank our first responders for being out there. Last night, we didn't experience the storm that we thought we were going to get, and then very quickly it happened this morning. And they are doing water rescues, and they're making sure that people are safe. They're making sure that people are getting transported. And not on top of thanking our first responders, we want to make sure that we thank the people who are working out of this operating center and other operating centers as well. These emergency coordinators are exceptionally important individuals who make sure that different jurisdictions and different agencies work together. And it is a key component of making sure that we address this unified. So thank you.
All right, we've been listening to the mayor's chief of staff, and before that, Harris County Judge Lina Hidalgo talking about the flooding that we've been having in this area and the mandatory evacuations that have been called for some parts of the area. We're talking about the East Fork of the San Jac River. It's a life-threatening situation up there. The expected water there is 78 feet above sea level, just several feet short of Harvey flooding. The shelters are available, they've been telling us. And as for you parents out there, you're worried about school tomorrow, check with your local school district, go to their website, as they are monitoring the situation and the water levels closely as well. Well, the good news is it looks like this system is moving out Cheetah Craft, but the bad news is it's moving out rather slowly.
That's exactly right. So we have been watching this all day, and while it is moving out, what is pouring right now in southern Harris County is really, really slow. But those areas that we were just hearing about that we're concentrating on, they're actually starting to get a break from active rainfall. I'm going to zoom in, though, where we're still tracking pouring rain across southern Harris County. This is just north of Sugar Land and right along the South Loop, along the South Beltway, along 288. Yeah, you're going to have to slow your speeds down. This is still where we could pick up another ½ to an inch of rain, but it is moving. Meadows Place, Missouri City, Heeker towards Bel Air, Riverside Terrace, those are all areas right now they're seeing moderate to heavy rain. I-10 eastbound, so this is a different direction than what we were tracking earlier. That's also seeing some heavy rain. Now, these rainfall totals that we've seen over the past 24 hours, they really vary. Montgomery County, anywhere from 4 to upwards of 6 inches of rain. However, inside the city, it's more like 1 to 3 inches of rain. Now, the further north I take you from Walker, San Jacinto, Polk County, look at some of these radar estimates over the last 24 hours, between 8 to 10 inches of rain. And that is where the risk for flooding will continue. Now, a live look from our live flood gauges. We're a partner with the Harris County Flood Control District. They're green all across Harris County. That is good news. So there's not active flooding there. Again, the concern is the East Fork and the West Fork at the San Jacinto River, and then all along the Trinity as well in Liberty County. Now, coming up before, I'm going to give you a full breakdown of that. But bottom line, the forecast really does improve for our afternoon and early evening hours. This is 7:30 this evening. You're just covered in clouds. That's the good news. We get a little bit of a break almost overnight from active rainfall, and then maybe a few spotty showers to an isolated thunderstorm for your Friday. Not nearly as severe as what you woke up to early this morning and right through our midday. And then it's by late Friday, potentially into early Saturday, we get one more little kick to start the weekend, and then that is it for the rain. We are going to continue to stay on top of this. Ron, I'll send it back to you. See you at 4 o'clock.
All right, thank you so much, Sheena. Make sure you have the free KHOU 11 mobile app to follow the forecast and get alerts sent right to your phone. We'll bring you more weather updates both on the air and online throughout the afternoon, and a full report on all this at 4 o'clock. See you then.
Take away from how that can happen.
And Brittany is also speaking out about what conditions were like in the Russian jail where she was held, and it is pretty shocking. Take a listen.
The mattress had a huge blood stain on it, and they give you these thin 2 sheets, so you're basically laying on bars. From middle of my shin to my feet, stuck through the bars, which in prison, you don't really want to stick your leg and arm through bars.
Áreas específicamente es donde van a ordenar esa evacuación obligatoria.
Ok, en español primero. Entonces, el área donde es la evacuación obligatoria es al este del brazo este, la parte este del brazo este del río San Jacinto. Entonces, la 99 viene así, del oeste viene hacia el este y tiene una curvita aquí. Ahí es la FM 1485, va básicamente sobre la 99. De ahí hasta Lake Houston, todo eso a lo largo del brazo este del río San Jacinto, esa área debe evacuar. La pregunta que sigue, ok, ¿a qué distancia del río? Alrededor de media milla. Entonces, vamos a poner un mapa para que vean más o menos dónde queda su casa con respecto al río. ¿Cuánto es media milla? Eso va a salir en Ready Harris y le vamos a mandar una alerta al celular con el link al mapa. La hora desde ya, en cuanto pueda, ya eso está vigente, entonces en cuanto pueda salir, por favor salga. No se trata de que, Dios mío, me voy ya, dejo todo. No, tiene tiempo de recoger provisiones, pero lo más pronto posible, por favor, evacúe, porque ya que caiga la noche, se vuelve muy peligroso. El agua va a llegar, no es tanto la lluvia, sino el agua que viene sobre el río, de toda la lluvia que cayó en el norte del condado Harris toda la noche. Esa agua viene bajando y va a rebosar el río y va a inundar toda esa área muy alto, o sea, al techo de las casas. Entonces, ese agua va a llegar como a medianoche, la madrugada, y por eso necesitamos que vayan saliendo lo más pronto posible. So to clarify, the folks that we need to evacuate and the mandatory evacuation is already in effect, and that is from on the east fork of the San Jacinto River. So imagine this is the San Jacinto River, and here's Lake Houston. Highway 99 comes here from the west, and then it bends over like that. FM 1485 is right alongside it. So from 1485 down to Lake Houston, all along this east fork of the San Jacinto River, that's where we need folks to evacuate as soon as possible. We're not saying leave everything behind, run out the door right now. We are saying leave as soon as you can, responsibly, before nighttime. Once the night falls, it becomes very dangerous. We still need you to do your best to get out of there, but it becomes very, very dangerous. And the water, it's not so much rainfall, it's the water that has come downstream, that's coming downstream in great force from north of Harris County, where it rained all night. And let me make an additional point. So the water is coming down, is flowing over the banks of the river, is going to be flooding the areas to a very, very high level, up to the roofs of houses and even homes that are elevated. But the water is also coming is swift water. I saw it yesterday myself. That's swift water. That's another part of the danger and why you don't want to be there. You don't want to be out. It's coming quickly. Anything else? Okay, thank you so much. Thank you again. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay.
Jeff, it's always good to see you.
Likewise. Yeah, nice to see you.
Under better circumstances,
I know,
it would be nice.
right? Yeah, but it's still okay.
Thank you,
so
County
much.
Judge.
Yeah,
It's good to see you.
likewise.
I do. Thanks again. Good to see you. I couldn't look at that.
We're making sure
was talking to them yesterday, making sure like when they got, one of the things that I work for all the commissioners' courts. I work for all the representatives for my. Well, I say, I think it's saving lives. Oh, see, I report, hey, I got to report to the commissioners. Hey, you know why I say what I'm saying? Because I figure I've got people that work late here. I'm gonna say I got 6 people.
Okay, you're up on me.
But thank you so very much. You know, always call me.
Good to see you. I promise I'll text you.
Please, anything you need, sir. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
How y'all doing?
Things okay. You guys need anything? Thank you, buddy. Yeah, no, you know where to find you. Yeah, I know. And it was, with the changes in SBA and FEMA, it's a good thing. That's why we're issuing these disaster declarations. SBA will be available faster. You don't have to wait for the IA declaration and the state to evaluate. We're definitely going to see which one. Yeah. Sarah Jones, Mississippi Regional Director. Nice to meet you.
Sarah, I'm Stephen David with Mayor Whitmire's office. It's good to see you.